It's just front page shoes. Yeah, welcome to front page shoes. Check the news, this is front page shoes. Now we got a ton of kicks, only got funds for kicks. Never say I'm done with kicks, I'm just having fun with kicks. Couple of these, few of those, doubled up cause those are cold. I'm trading these, I'm stocking those, I'm flipping these and I'm rocking those like whoa. Yeah, been sneaking around since 20-some. Get down on Sneaker Jeopardy. If you stick around, you might learn you some. Just a couple of OGs, probably rocking some OGs. Look down like OGs, them joints from like 03. It's just front page shoes. Yeah, it's just front page shoes. Yeah, welcome to front page shoes. Check the news, this is front page shoes. It's just front page shoes. They checking in cause this is front page news. To every sneakerhead, even the hypest beast. It all started with, do you got my size and need? It's just front page shoes. Yeah, it's just front page shoes. Yeah, welcome to front page shoes. Check the news, this is front page shoes. Now we got a ton of kicks, only got funds for kicks. Never say I'm done with kicks, I'm just having fun with kicks. Couple of these, few of those, doubled up cause those are cold. I'm trading these, I'm stocking those, I'm flipping these and I'm rocking those like whoa. Yeah, been sneaking around since 20-some. Get down on Sneaker Jeopardy. If you stick around, you might learn you some. Just a couple of OGs, probably rocking some OGs. Look down like OGs, them joints from like 03. It's just front page shoes. Yeah, it's just front page shoes. Yeah, welcome to front page shoes. Check the news, this is front page shoes. It's just front page shoes. They checking in cause this is front page news. To every sneakerhead, even the hypest beast. It all started with, do you got my size and need? It's just front page shoes. Yeah, it's just front page shoes. Yeah, welcome to front page shoes. Check the news, this is front page shoes. Now we got a ton of kicks, only got funds for kicks. Never say I'm done with kicks, I'm just having fun with kicks. Couple of these, few of those.
2 for 5s over here, baby. Word up, 2 for 5s, niggas got garbage down the way. Word up. Check this old fly shit out. Word up.
Step on my shoes, I will kill you.
Knew he had a crew, there wasn't no punk, and they spit fire shirts and SB dope.
Step on my shoes, I will kill you. Size 10, maybe 10 and a half. Good condition, for many years they last. Creative Rex, Vans, DCs. Ain't life supreme or the pumps on my feet. Shoe color is bright. Fuck it, all of those above you can catch in the night. It's like walk the streets with my Nike SBs.
2 for 5s over here, baby. Word up, 2 for 5s, niggas got garbage down the way. Word up. Check.
Yo, what's good?
Hey.
What's good? What's good?
Aaron, how are you, man?
Good, man. Good, man. Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Sorry. Hey, I'm excited. I feel like this is going to be a dope conversation, a dope time for us to just chat about sneakers and everything that happened this year. So, yeah, we got some amazing people, I feel like, so I'm excited.
Man, I'm excited too. We got a lot of guests. I guess I'm having camera difficulties, right? I apologize if you guys can't see me. Can you guys see me now? I sent the new link in on in our private chat. So yeah. All right, man. Let's just get right into it. We might scrap all the extra stuff. let's bring up our panel for today. First one up, we got Clay. We're gonna add him to the stage. He could give us a quick introduction on himself. Welcome.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Yeah, man, I'm
Welcome.
Clay. I go by at Gulf Coast Sneakers on Instagram, and yeah, excited to be here, man. Been collecting shoes. Actually, just popped up on a memory. My first pair in my collection I picked up about 8 years ago. So it's been going on 8 years now, and about the time I could finally afford starting to buy a pair on my own is when I finally started collecting. So, but I live on the Panhandle of Florida, in between kind of Pensacola and Gaston, if you're familiar with those places. So down there now, and but from Memphis originally. That's why you see the Grizzlies hat here. Grew up playing ball, and excited to be on with you guys.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
All right, next up, this one's highly anticipated. If you follow all these guys, this is one of the 3 Brians on on the panel today at 23BC. Welcome, sir.
Yo, glad to be here, man. Been collecting, man, probably since 03, 04, heavy. Those were my high school days, and I worked in Athlete's Foot for a while, and that kind of jump started the collection. And then ever since then, it's just been go for me. So glad to be here. Excited to meet everybody on the panel for the first time. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. So appreciate the invite.
Awesome. All right, let's bring up the next guest. Who we bringing on, Tim?
I think we got Brian, another Brian, right around the corner, so we can bring him on. Area 13 Sneakers, welcome.
What's going on, everyone? Brian, Area 13, based out of Florida. I've been collecting for about 20 years now. And yeah, man, just super excited to be here. And real quick, thank you, everyone. I got some people popping in the chat, so definitely appreciate everyone coming through tonight. Should be a phenomenal panel. Super excited to be here. So, it'll be good.
All right, let's bring up another. Let's bring up the last Brian. Why not?
Sweep
Brian,
it. Sweep it.
This is a Brian sweep. What's good,
Yo, the third Brian. I go by Scotch 55. Out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, about an hour and a half outside Atlanta, up in Tennessee. I've been collecting for about 20 years, 20. So yeah, I'm just glad to be here, man. Appreciate the opportunity for sure.
Dope. All right. You guys know this guy from sneaker history, one of the voices of sneakers. So we're gonna bring up Mike.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mike Guillory, also known as Mad Watcher 789, 1/4 of the Sneaker History podcast. And if you guys see my YouTube channel, so appreciate you guys having me on. It's awesome. I love talking about these different everyone's thoughts on these sneakers of the year. So it's gonna be great.
Welcome, Mike.
All right, Tim, who we bringing up next, man? Who we bringing up next?
I feel like I got to bring out a fellow teacher. We got a teacher out from Texas. We can bring out James.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm James. I'm in the Houston, Katy area. And like Tim said, I'm a high school teacher. And I started collecting shoes about 2011, 2013. And it just kind of ramped up since then, man. Glad to be a part of this. This is really cool. Great to meet all of y'all.
All right. Last but not least, the man from Atlanta, Big Georgia. Bring Gabe up to the stage.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, welcome. Thank you. Glad to be here. This is exciting. Really glad to be amongst all the great collectors that we got on this panel here. And as stated, my name is Gabriel. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, represent the South big time. But as far as collecting, I've been collecting kind of lightly for about 10 years, but I've been a part of sneakers since like the 2nd grade, and been watching it, from the British Knights days, and, from stuff that, you know, a lot of people don't even know that existed. So, you know, sneakers has always been a part of it. It's always been a part of the fashion. Has always been a part of the culture. Kind of seeing it develop. So, very happy to be here to talk about 2024.
Welcome, Gabe. Just to preface, you know, I just feel like everyone here has a lot of insight and a lot of wisdom and just, you know, their own experiences with sneakers. So I'm just super excited to hear everyone's thoughts, you know, what they like, didn't like, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for this. Thank you guys. I know we're all over the place as well. So timing wise, it was a little difficult with kids or it's late. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, let's get started, man. We're gonna go straight into our top 5 shoes of the year. So just to preface too, we asked everyone what their top 5 shoes of the year was, and everyone's list looks a little different. We're not here to determine the top shoe of the year. We're here to talk about what our personal opinions of the top shoes of the year were. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Have good condition for many years they last. Creative Rex, Vans, DCs, a life supreme on the pumps on my feet. Have good condition for many years they last. Creative Rex, Vans, DCs, a life supreme on the pumps on my feet.
All right. We might not be able to get all the pictures up in time with the size of a panel, but Tim, go ahead and start us off, bro. Then we'll go from Tim, Clay, and we'll just go across the board and get all of our shoes.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We got a lot of us, so let's just get through the list and we can discuss. My number 5, I believe, was the Nike SB Dunk Futuras. I felt like there weren't a whole lot of SBs this year, personally, compared to last year, and that one was the one that stood out to me the most. I loved it. It's a legendary pair. Number 4, I have the Reimagined Breads. I just felt like a leather bread is something that we've always wanted, personally. I don't know. I wanted it, and so I was super excited to see it. Number 3, number 2, and 1 I have, so I can show you. Number 3, I got the Chlorophylls, Pata Air Max 1s. You guys know, right? 06 original release, 20th anniversary. It's just a legendary pair. My number 2, personally, this is just 2 great pairs. I got the Nigels in the gray and in the green as well. Both phenomenal pairs with storytelling, quality, new model. And my number 1 are the Sunders. I feel like both Kids of Immigrant Sunders are incredible pairs. The storytelling on them was just, it hit home. I grew up with the phone call or phone card calling my grandparents in Korea. It was just something that I did every Sunday, and it was like a ritual in our family. And so when he put that calling card in there, right, and all that hidden details, it was perfect. You know, being a kid of immigrant myself, you know, it just meant a lot. And I felt like the Sunders deserve the shine and the light that they got this year. It's a dope silhouette. And so, yeah, these are my top 5.
Nice.
I feel like, yeah, like the Sunders, I guess we'll ask the panel real fast, but like the Sunders were kind of like a late bloomer, right? Like they kind of hit the scene and were on a lot of people's lists.
They snuck in after all the lists were made, pretty much. So it's pretty much what happened. I think that everyone gets to rethink their list today, which is awesome because it's after the fact. So rightfully on there.
No doubt.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on the Sunders making a comeback since '99, right? That's when they originally released. And so what are your guys' thoughts seeing these like ACG kind of runner old school vibes coming back? Are you for it, against it? You know?
I think I'm for the diversity. I think I'm for the diversity coming back. I like seeing diversity in the game. Personally, I was never a Sunders fan, so I didn't go for these, not because I didn't appreciate the story and everything behind them, but I wanted people who really love the Sunders to have that opportunity to get them. I wasn't trying to take them from somebody who really loved that silhouette and that shoe. But what I do love is seeing that diversity in the game coming back. And I feel like the last couple of years, it's really come on strong.
Yeah, it was good to see them, but the GRs didn't like strike a chord with me. I mean, it was good to see something different, but a lot of guys couldn't wear them because they're made on the women's last. So
Thanks.
they you put the shoe on, it's kind of like just squeezing the life out of your foot kind of thing. So a lot of guys got turned off by that. But the big thing about it is that what the kids of immigrants did is that they actually just took that whole thing and just made it something that a lot of people couldn't even ever think about imagining. And I think that put the Sunder in a whole nother level or realm in the in sneaker lore based on this collaboration.
Yeah, Gabe, you talk about like the GRs, right? The GR Sunders weren't hitting for me, and I like the kids, the immigrants, what they did with it on this colorway. They flipped up some things. The panels are different, so I'm looking in 2025 to see like, does the Sunder do people capitalize on that, right? Or is this going to be a really dope one-off that we'll talk about next year? Because it was so late in the game this year that it's almost a 2025 sneaker.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that change put new life in it, because you look at the Sunder, it's very functional, very utility, especially when they threw in the Gore-Tex for a couple pairs. You don't really think twice about it. It kind of falls in that Gorp Core, Solomon, things like that. And that big change added a whole depth to the shoe that was super different, and it made it unisex as opposed to being on just the women's last. So I think that was the big game changer, making it easy for everyone to wear, and then making it something different than what we saw in just those kind of bland GR pairs, to say the least.
For sure.
No, I agree with Clay with what he was saying too. I was never a Sunder person growing up. I definitely respect the story of these two. And like you said, just any shoe that comes in right at the deadline and people have to go back and readjust their list tells you something, right? So, I mean, it's a beautiful pair. I'm glad for everyone that was able to grab a pair that really wanted them to rock them, because they're a beautiful shoe.
Aaron, who we got next?
Clay, you're up. Top 5.
Yeah. All right. Run through. I actually have 4 of my top 5s. I was very fortunate this year. So number 5 for me was the Nina Chanel 3s. Would have been probably a little higher on my list, but at least the first couple of times I've worn them, it's got a really premium leather on the ankle collar, but it's really stiff. It's probably got to break in a little bit, so it's not the most comfortable 3 to wear. But Nina did her thing on these. So that was my number 5. Number 4 was Tim's 5, the Futura Lab SB Dunks. I didn't get my hands on those yet. Those will probably be a reach back for me, but that was my number 4. Number 3, I thought was not talked about enough. I thought it was the best release personally in the collection that Whitaker Group dropped, the While You Were Sleeping 3s. Love this pair. The material quality, the story, the packaging, everything was so good on it. Number 2 for me was my number 1 for most of the year until it got unseated late. But when I saw when these first got announced last year, I got excited about these. Were the Kobe 4 girl dad. So I'm a girl dad personally. I got two little girls, so this one was one. It was a must-have for me. So that was my number 2. And number 1, and I'm sure we'll get into talking about this a little bit later. Gabe, Aaron, and I, along with a few others, had a shared experience of getting to be a part of the release of these, but was the Unheard Of brand Adidas Rivalry Low Building Bridges. So that was my number 1 shoe of the year. What Phil is doing with Unheard Of right now is incredible. I don't think he's getting enough shine. I loved that I finally saw him on a Nice Kicks, top storytelling kind of kicks of the year. It was so good to see that. But this was absolutely my number 1 shoe this year.
That's a good list. Yeah, I'm gonna speak on those building bridges. I think it's beyond the shoe, right? Because like if you look at just a rivalry low, not a lot of people are checking for rivalry lows, but I think we were kind of thirsty or desperate for some stories in sneakers, right? Instead of just a constant release of product, it was time for like some storytelling or something behind the shoes to make a comeback in 2024. So I think that shoe did it for me too. It's on my top 5.
Yeah, I think this year there were a lot of stories. I mean, I personally don't own the Building Bridges pair, and I'm not a huge like Adidas head, right? As much as I respect it and appreciate it, but yeah, that one, the story is just spot on. I just saw a Footwear News like post about Phil and the whole story behind the shoes and all that stuff. Yeah, it's incredible. So that's a solid pick.
Very nice.
Unheard of is super slept on, man. I thought that shoe's in my top 5 too, Clay. And I had the grandma's couch, and my wife's got the alternate pair. And man, that was such a cool drop. It was such a cool thing that I was disappointed I missed out on the building bridges, but it is definitely in my top 5. So that's a good one.
Yeah, doesn't look like they're stopping in 2025 either. Was that he had the Adistar cushions he was wearing?
The pink pigs.
Yeah,
Yep.
I saw
I
that.
had to get my hands on those.
Yeah, I was like, I
Yep.
need to do something about that because that's a pair I definitely want to have when they release.
No doubt.
Yeah, Phil has an onslaught coming.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
What did you guys think just with the Futura SBs, right? Like in 2020, 2021, we saw like an onslaught of SBs, right? Like we got the chunky donkeys, we got the everything, right? We had almost a pair of months dropping. That was crazy. Why do you guys think there was such a decline? Not that they didn't release a lot, they released a ton of SBs, but it almost felt like there was a decline in maybe the hype or just the relevance of SBs again. Why do you guys think that was?
I think there were so many things that released. Dunk wise, it was just too many things for people to keep track of. The storytelling, besides a few of them, weren't that amazing. Like they were just kind of throwing things at the wall, hoping they stuck for a while. And I mean, you got chunky donkeys, you got a couple other things out there, but I think SBs always have this course that they run, and it ran its course. We're getting to the lull again, where they're gonna have some cool things. Like I think the Wizard of Oz dunks were pretty dope, but I mean, it sold out on sneakers. And I'm not sure about skate shops around the states, but we're at this point where they're easier to get now, and we're going to find another 5-10 years we're going to be in the same cycle of SBs. And I think it's just something that with the life cycle of SBs that just happens.
Yeah, I think so. I think there were some great GR SBs that released this year that were non-collabs that were so good. The what was the one? The Big Money Savings was a dope shoe. The City of Cinema, dope shoe. Like they had some really solid colorways that released this year. But I think, and I'm sure we'll get into this conversation as a group a little bit later, I think what moves the needle culturally is shifted. And so I think that's what we're seeing drive things a little different now. It's not just what's hype, it's not just what everyone has, but I think we're starting to see some things shift culturally in terms of what moves the needle. And I think that's why you've seen some of these things sitting. As a collector, I'm not mad about it. Let stuff sit. Let me keep getting stuff for retail or less. I'm happy.
Can I just add the GR SB dunks are phenomenal quality though. I mean, if you've gotten your hands on any of the ones that are coming out, they're like orange label quality. And so I've been super stoked to walk into these skate shops and grab these pairs, and the suede, the butter, the leather, right? I've been happy, and I feel like people that have been around the older SB era, they're like, this is what we did back then, where we just go in, grab SBs, right, and then later it gets popular, but it is what it is, right? So I'm not complaining. Yeah, it's not as big of a storytelling year as it was the last couple, but quality wise, colorway wise, they've all been pretty good. Yeah.
No, I thought the GRs were great. I have too many of them actually. They were all good quality. They're great they're great all day to teach in for me, and so I thought they were really cool. I was late to the SB game, so for me, I missed out on the chunky dunks at retail. I missed out on a lot of that stuff, so I know a little bit more of the history behind it. So it's nice for me to be able to get retail or less, like you said, Tim, to walk in and see the Trocadero Gardens at my outlet was wild. So that's cool. It's a good era.
Underrated
time to be in.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. And they're going to end soon, so get ready.
All righty, Aaron. Who we got next?
All right, Scott's 55. Talk to us, bro.
All right. It's personal with my 5, and it's probably gonna change after this stream. But we
already know what your sneaker of the year for 2025.
There you go. Now, if you're watching, I need 2 of them things. I got money. Okay. Number 5 for me, I got all 5 of mine. Carolina 17s. It's personal. It's personal. BC can attest to this. Was waiting for this for a long time. I actually got an OG pair somewhere on the other side of this room crumbling right now, so needed this.
Yeah. Now show those again. Show those again. They don't get the love. Show those again real
Yeah,
fast. Woo.
you know, with the
And the
case, with the
suitcase.
case, with the case.
Fire.
I was thankful. Retail still was high, but oh well.
Beautiful.
Love the shoes.
Hey, listen, this one of my favorite silhouettes ever made by
Let's
Nike.
go. Let's
So
go.
the
Yep.
Cortez Trainer
Cortez.
Harachis. I gotta
Yep.
complete the set. Rios, J Balvin joints.
Nice.
I love a 3. I can't even be mad. I also this is one of my favorite Jordan silhouettes as well. So Soulfly 12s. When I seen them, I said I was grabbing them, and I stood on that business. So yeah. Also these right here, number one for me. You know, it's a green Jordan. You know, I can't pass up a green Jordan, Nina Chanel's. Yeah, so that's my 5 right there. But it's probably gonna
Strong
change.
list.
Nah, Brian just stole the show.
Yeah,
The
no,
17s,
Diversity, I love
man.
Question for you,
needed it.
Brian.
Yeah.
Question for you. Lightnings over the or UNC's over the Lightnings for
The
you?
Lightning's right, yeah. So I'm a big baby blue fan. So that's the only reason. But the Lightning's right here too, though. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you know, I didn't want to be
Walking
too
around,
biased. You know what I'm
2
saying? Yeah, they
briefcases.
definitely. There you
Oh,
go.
man.
There you go. College blues right here too. So it might be 3 briefcases.
I'm a little salty. I couldn't get either pair for retail, so I'm hoping they can find some cheaper sooner than
Hey.
later.
Yeah, I was right there with you, Mike.
I'm trying to double up,
Lightnings
so
are-
I'm prepared to pay extra.
What do you guys think about the diversity this year? I personally felt like it was really diverse in terms of models, silhouette, brands. You know, you guys like that and don't like that? I mean, is that towards your taste in sneakers and fashion? What do you guys think?
Oh,
I
yeah.
I
appreciate
think
it.
it's great. Yeah, I think because a lot of people
Yeah.
have been asking for something over 14 for a while, right? So it's
My
like,
God.
you know, we get the 1 through 14 and 1 through 14 and 1 through 14. And there are a lot of cats out there that, you know, like the 15, 16, 17s, even into the 20s. And so Jordan listened, even though they kind of were a little slow to getting it out or whatever, but they still listened a little bit. So I think putting out those and then putting the briefcase with them and, you know, doing some of the things they did to at least allow for the neighborhoods to offer those to, you know, folks that really wanted them. You know, I think that they did a good job with that for sure.
Yeah, that change was needed. I think they were getting burnt out with the same thing over and over and over, and something had to change. And I think in this span, that's what we saw a lot of the other brands picking up steam. And I think Jordan brand realized like, hey, we're losing traction here. It's not a bad thing because I love all the other brands as well, but eventually they had to do something different. Like there's only so many color variations we can get of the same shoe. And like we've yet to see 16s. We just now getting 17s. I would love to see 18s. I'm a big 15 guy.
Same.
So yeah, 15 through 23. I mean, I love them all. So
Yeah, I ain't mad at it. I need some 20s. We need some more 20s for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
the diversity of it all made, like, if you look at the whole, I guess, sneaker like landscape, it makes it better because as Nike's like, okay, well, let's bring out these 17s. You got Adidas bringing out stuff you don't even think of, like, who thought about bringing the Kobe 1 back or the Kobe 2 or you know, things like that. It gets people like us who've been collecting for so long a nice look back and be able to get them easily because people don't think about those so much aside from the 17s. And that competition is something, you know, one of the things I'll probably end up bringing up later, but the competition drives each person to be better, bring something better to the table because you can easily go, I want to go Adidas, get that. Or you know what? I'm going to go down to ASICS and get that. There's so many things you can pick and choose from now. Nike doesn't have that stranglehold like they used to. So it gives you that ability to say, let me make the choice with my money that I can spend on something I really want.
Yeah.
Well, we're now like, I mean, I feel like I'm a little younger than a lot of us on the stage, but like now we have our own money, right? And so like Jordan's finally giving us the shoes that we wanted because our pairs are crumbling, right? Like I remember getting the briefcase in a size 8 men's back in the day, right? So now I'm a 12. I need that 12. And so like I've held on to my Cherrywood 16s. But I do want to bring up a question because he brought up Scott's brought up the Rio threes, man. Does it feel like to you guys like it just felt like those went under the radar? Those were, you know, everyone wanted them, but like it felt like to 23BC's point, Nike kept at one point Nike was just like killing us with every boutique was doing the same shoe. And so it was like, all right, if we want a pair of shoes, we got to buy the twos this time around, right? But do you think it's over for collabs, or do you think you know, are we going back to GRs taking a front row, or collabs? Collabs still
never over.
No, collabs will rule the day, man. That's what lights the fire, man. You know, that black pair was just hard to get. Like nobody touched that shoe. Like it was just very difficult to get. So the few people that got it, the few people that got it, not a whole lot of people wore it. So it just kind of just fell off everybody's radar because it wasn't like on the streets and stuff like that so much, you know. So I just think it was one of those just kind of unique pairs that dropped, and he kind of gave it to certain folks that he wanted to give it to, and we just kind of kept it moving.
And I think that's the biggest issue right now. Like you gotta get these collabs to the streets.
Gotta get them to the streets, man. I was telling you, I tested somebody 2 weeks ago about how, and I don't mean to monopolize conversation, but particularly like Travis, like this last drop that he had, it's like if you're the collaborator, why would you want for warehouses and storerooms to be full of your shoes instead of on the feet of the people on the street, right? If I was a collaborator, I want to see everybody wearing my shoe. I don't want to see a picture of some dude that, you know, has 2,000 pairs in a warehouse that's kind of like, hey, I'll, you know, you're going to want them in 2 years. Like, no, I'm not going to want them in 2 years. Like, you'll be all right.
You can tell the difference of the person who's been really invested in their art compared to someone who's getting a check.
Yeah.
You know, Travis getting a check.
He's getting a check. Yeah.
But you can tell other people like Nina, you can tell other people like J Tips who were invested into their art.
Yep.
And they were on the front lines making sure people got their shoes. So it just depends on who they need to be more selective who they give these collections to. Because there's just so many people who are just out there for get your money. I'm not mad at you, but they don't care where the shoe goes.
Yeah. Because see, the thing about it, they're going to get paid regardless. Like, we're going to buy the shoe, but give it to the wearer. Like, give it to the person that actually wears their sneakers. Like, I'm not a museum, man. I'm putting dirt on all my shoes. You know,
I'm right there with you,
man. Straight up.
Well, it used to be that any collab would hit, right? Any collab was supposed to be really solid and great on materials, and it was supposed to be a thing you wanted to get. But now they're more hit or miss for the exact same reason. I forget who said it, but if you're just doing a different colorway, like how many Travises are we really going to need on the market, right? And
need all of them.
Well, okay.
How much brown is there? How many brown colorways do you have?
I need that T-Jack and that Sharkadon. Y'all can get them lows though.
Yeah, but like that's the difference between the Ninas and maybe some of the rotating Travises that we get. I think that Nina did something different with the 3, and J Balvin did something different with it in terms of the materials. So I think the days of it's a collab, it's automatically a hit are probably gone. You have to be more selective. Like I loved the Soulfly Cafecitos were great, but what hit me was they also had a hint of that Ama Manier 2, the cracked leather, and I was like, man, they look real. Like I have a pair of the Ama 2s; they're one of my favorites.
Yep, great shoe.
And I love everything Soulfly does. I have a bunch of their pairs, but I could not pull the trigger because I was like, man, I basically have the cracked leather in a shoe already, so I couldn't do it. And
I felt the same way because I've got the Ama 2s, but I've also got the Ama Manier as well.
I probably, if I went to my phone, I probably still have the window open in my Safari to like tell myself not to buy it, but like just in case, right? Like, but no, it's a great shoe. But
I ain't gonna lie, I'm trying to double up on these ASAP.
It's a great shoe, and they always come with quality. That's why, like, I would buy a Soulfly. I would buy a Soulfly collab hands down. But there's others that I balk at because I know it's just a check.
Word. All right. We could talk all night. But
when Clay pulled out the Ama Manier 3, I mean the white pair was sneaker of the year a few years ago.
Yeah.
The quality on the black pairs phenomenal. It is such an underrated pair, but yet again, like you guys said, you change the color a little bit. Their whole every release, I have the Air Force Ones, they're phenomenal quality. The Air Max 95 is phenomenal quality, and like they're just so many options right now for people to where they want their dollars. You know?
All right, Brian, since Area 13 sneakers, since you're up, let's hear your top 5, man, and then we'll go 23 BC, we'll go to Mad Watcher, James, and then Gabe, and then we'll get into some more conversation.
Cool. So I've got 4 of my 5, and I do want to say how awesome this is because it seems like we've all got different pairs, so it's really, really cool. Number 5, I do not have because I'm a size 13, and for some reason everybody grabbed them, and the resale's crazy. But it's the AirTech Challenge Hot Lavas.
That's a good one.
Everybody's size going in that.
I know a few guys. I mean, a lot of mine are going to be older silhouettes, so bear with me. So number 4. I've got military, industrial blue of military 4s for my number 4.
Great pair.
Number 3, Air Force One linen.
Yes.
Yes.
That one
Brian bringing back the old school. Come on now.
Oh, I still need these, man.
Hey, Aaron, I knew you was going to say that.
I need those.
Number 2, please keep opening up the vault. I don't care. Things.
Sure.
Yeah, those are going in the collection. I missed on retail, but those are I'm grabbing those.
And then my personal number 1, if you follow me, I'm into SBs. This is the only one that when I saw it gave me that old SB. I got to have it. It's a piece of art on my foot.
Awesome. Yeah.
This is my sneaker of the year.
Can I just say? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tim. You got it.
I just think the vault stuff is phenomenal. I am a fan of it. I have a few of the pairs that you mentioned. I got lucky with the linens, the Air Trainer Hirachis that Brian showed earlier, right? Some of these older models, I am loving seeing them come back, right? I mean, the linens were nearly impossible to get both releases, right?
Yeah.
If you weren't in Tokyo or if you weren't in Florida, you're not getting them. And so the fact that they brought them out, I love it. So that's applaud.
Re-release everything.
I was excited when I saw
re-release everything.
My size is still 300 plus, and I'm like, I hate everyone who doesn't know who Agassi is, but I understand it because the shoe's phenomenal and it's a piece of history. I will own it, but I'm gonna need it to come down just a little bit for me.
I just saw my size drop under 200. I'm like, let's go.
Next year, that gray and pink pair. Whew,
yes, sir.
This year, though, I think like from the conversation so far, man, like if you were a real sneaker enthusiast, like a real fan of sneakers, and you've been around for a while, this was like our year, because like who would have thought we would have got a major collaboration on a Huarache, right? Like they tried bringing back the Huarache lows a couple years ago, and the kids weren't feeling them, right? But this year, to get that collab on the Huarache, to get the 17s back, the linen forces, the stash Air Max 95s, like it's all the feels of like growing up and the chlorophylls, right? Like all these shoes that we were like, dang, these are gonna be unattainable.
The Huff Pack.
The Huff Pack. Like we're sitting there looking on eBay trying to find our size, and we didn't have to do that anymore. We could just hop on sneakers and and buy them, which is crazy.
I still was moving on there.
All right, 23 BC, my guy. Let's hear it.
All right. So number 5, this one was sentimental to me, just like stated before. I remember when these came out, I seen them in a magazine, could not get them, and also I didn't have no money back in the day. So now that I have money, and I also missed the kid's pair. The linens definitely a super sleeper for me. I have multiple pairs of these, so this is one of my favorite Air Force One colorways of all time. So this had to make number 5 for me. Number 4, we just saw these as well. I didn't think this would ever release, ever. So being that they did, I'm with it. And I have a chance to wear something that I didn't think I'd ever be able to have on foot. I'm all for it. Number 3, I actually have 2 that I left downstairs. So number 3 is the Black Cement 3. I think that's self-explanatory of what it means to the culture itself, how big of a shoe that is. Number 2 is also downstairs. It is the AE1 All Stars. My bad, guys. I have a lot of sneakers everywhere. And for everybody who knows me or who's been following my page or knows anything about me, my number 1 shoe is something that I've been in love with since the day I've seen it. I probably went through literally at least 15 to 16 pair of originals. I still have like 5 DS originals now. And this is the one for me. Why? I have no idea. But this was the one that really started it for me. And it's almost was 22 years to the day since we had got a release of the Lightning 17, which I think was far too long. But now that they're back, I'm super thankful. I don't care if anything else comes out again. I got this shoe again, but that's just a me thing. As somebody who's been collecting for years and who's pretty much seen everything or been able to grab everything I wanted, that was the one thing I couldn't grab because you can't wear them anymore. So I'm just glad they're back.
Thanks.
Great list, bro.
Good list, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, great list.
Are we getting more 17s? I hope so, man. I hope so.
Yeah, I've been hearing little things.
Yeah.
Sometimes little birdies.
Can they cut the
sometimes
price?
they talk to me when they want to talk to me, or they show my videos and pictures to people higher up. So I do hear things, but from what I'm hearing, a lot of good things coming. I just feel like Jordan. I feel like Jordan Brand kind of took too long with this, and just from my experience of the younger generation who's telling me like I never put on a 16, and I mean, if you think about it, if they didn't grab a countdown pack or a retro, they have never put on a 16. Or I mean, if you think about other 17s, if you didn't grab a countdown pack or one of the like
Soul Flies.
And those were incredibly hard to get back. Like it, man, I had to jump through hoops and ladders to get those.
I was gonna ask how you felt about those since you like collecting so much.
Oh yeah, definitely love those. So it's just like I think like all the younger collectors need the opportunity to see if they like something or they don't like something. Because all these people with all these narratives, like, oh, anything over 14 is trash. Like, I'll argue with anybody with that. Or even put your collection up 1 through 14. Like, I'll have that conversation. But at this point, I just feel like it's time for other silhouettes to have their chance and people to have opportunities to wear them. Like, I would love for my son to have a retro 17 as well. But again, so it's just time.
All I know is when the 17s come back out, I know I got the money. Either Brian, I'm sending you some cash to get me a pair. I can strike it out.
For real.
I'm hurting over here.
Yeah, it's they got to get creative too. Like I think it's only like obviously panels like this and like our content and things that we do and just us wearing them and showing them. So I'm a teacher, right? And so I try to show my students like what older models look like. But I think as the time passes, right, there's no more connection to Jordan the way people that grew up in the 90s had it, right? Like these kids don't really know who Jordan is. Like he's not the celebrity that he was to us growing up, right? Like, oh, that's Jordan. Like we're watching Jordan, we're wearing Jordans. To them, like, you know, they got Kyrie or like Shea, and these guys are the new celebrities to them, but Jordan doesn't have that same meaning to them because they're so young. They're so distant from Jordan, right? A lot of their parents didn't watch Jordan, right? So we're getting into that generation where it's like there's 2 generations of separation now between them and Jordan. And so it's crazy. I mean, I know Scott's coach, is that like your experience too?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely is, man. But these kids, they really just different. You know, they'll wear some Crocs
Yeah.
and some pajamas and be cool.
All day,
Uh,
yeah, every
yeah,
day,
Cool,
I'm
man.
from
that's
a
what I'm
different
saying.
era, man. You know, I grew up on the basement, Rap City 106 Park. So you know,
Yep.
anywhere we went,
Yeah,
we had to put something on. Like, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Mike, I got older kids. You know, they be having out of dress code days at school, and they just wake up, brush their teeth, and go on to school. I'm like, you don't want to put a fit on, son?
Right,
Like, you don't want to
right.
get no shoes? No, Dad, I'm cool. So yeah, I definitely understand that, man. So I do my part on the same aspect, man, is making sure that I still let them know what's going on. I think the biggest issue though is the people that they relate to, like you mentioned, Shay, you mentioned Kyrie. They don't wear their stuff like that. If it ain't on the
Hmm.
court, they not wearing it.
Yeah,
Like, you know
you
what I'm
just hoop with
saying?
it.
And I think, yeah, that was a big deal when we was coming up, man. We seen all the, everybody had on Jordans, even the rappers and stuff like that. It was a big deal to have those. You know what I'm saying? Even Air Maxes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like from the '90s and stuff like that. You know, you think Eminem had his run in the early 2000s with them.
Hmm.
So I think that's something that we lack now in the game. I think maybe that's why a lot of these younger kids like designer shoes because that's what they wear. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Well, one good thing for both Jordan and Nike is that they have some people back in the helm that can like actually connect with folks. They got Jason Maiden back, and then they got Frank Cook back on the Nike
Shout out to
side, and both those
my brother
guys
Frank.
are with the culture, man. They're plugged in. They know, it's going to take them a little bit of time to like turn this big ship around and like get it back to where they want it. But
Yeah.
I think that they are plugged in. They're listening. They kind of understand. I know Jason has, like older teenage kids, so he kind of understands what that mindset is a little bit with them too. So I think kind of in the next 2 or 3 years, things are going to probably be a little bit more kind of palatable in regards to like what the culture looks like.
For sure. Hey, just for the sake of time, I felt like that was good. But Mike, curious to hear what your top 5 is, man.
Yeah,
Hit us.
man. So number 5 is going to be the Kids of Immigrants Thunder. I love the fact that they retooled it completely with the upper. That is, gave it something fresh, something different. My number 4, Nina Chanel. 3. My list has changed. I feel like constantly over the past couple of weeks, and that one kept hanging around like the 4, 5, 6 area, but it had to come back. Just looking at just the materials, the changes that were being able to be made, the color. So I got to give Nina the number 4 spot. Nigel came in at number 3. Always been a big Nigel fan from the BMX era, of course. But the fact that he got to tell a actual story, with his sneaker and introduce a new model. Wasn't able to get a pair of his, but I do have a pair of RMs, and I actually think they're a really cool shoe. A nice change of pace from what we typically get from Jordan Brand. So big fan of that sneaker. Hope to see more from him with that model. And then my number 2, number 1 were really hard, really back and forth with me. But number 2, J Tips. I actually have a pair. I'm just not at home. But the J Tips program on me non-to-do list. Again, we talk about someone who's invested in his art, someone who's boots on the ground to make sure people get his shoe. The man did a world tour to make sure people got this sneaker. And, the team at Saucony, they killed it with this one. They've been killing it with just everything they touch, seems like. So that one made a number 2. And number 1 just goes back to my roots of just loving basketball. And that's going to be the AE1. If I got to go particular colorway, I'm going to go with the, was it the Future Pack or the All-Star colorway? Just this brings me back to before we had, all the photos on the internet, Getty Images, ESPN, all that stuff of seeing what shoes people were wearing. You can see the AE1 from your TV. You can see exactly what shoe it is, exactly what it is. There's no question. And I've owned a couple of pairs of them right now, and they're just an absolute fantastic shoe. And you got people talking about basketball shoes in the casual realm again, that's all. We all grew up with that. We all talk about that, what rappers wearing, what celebrities wore. We saw on foot basketball sneakers, and I think this AE1 really kind of reopened that door for the younger generation to understand what we talked about. Because, we can go back and like early as 2012, or later 2012, I should say, we're wearing LeBrons, we're wearing KDs, Kobe's, with jeans, out in the streets with cargos. And this feel like that opened that door again.
And Nike Elite socks too.
Nike Elite socks had to be had.
Yeah. And shout out to KO for making sure that folks knew how to wear those AE1s with jeans and on the casual streetwear sense. Shout out KO for that.
I love that shoe, man.
It's a solid. The AE1s is again, I'm not a huge Adidas head, but I gotta pay respect to where it's due. It's on my other list, but it's a great shoe. What are your guys'
Crazy.
thoughts with, let's take it back to nostalgic, basketball shoes, casual, you see that trend coming back where, is that like, let's leave it back then kind of thing? I felt like Wale pulled it off pretty well.
Isn't
in
that
that
Look, man,
first
I
picture.
don't know about the rest of y'all. That trend never left for me. I've been rocking those shoes. Like,
Saying no
I'll
shame
stay
here.
rocking those shoes.
Okay.
That's been what I've been doing for years.
For
I
sure.
was-
Back when I was playing ball, hoop shoes was all I had. Like if I was playing AAU ball or whatever, your team shoes, like I couldn't go out and just buy kicks. So that was it. So I was rocking every pair I got. The moment the season ended, and I wasn't just carrying them in and out the gym, that was my streetwear. That was it. That was all I had. Like so I stay rocking hoop shoes and with the jeans and been doing it for a minute.
Dude, this younger generation is wild on it. They don't like it. And I mean, my kids don't clown me because their grades are in my hands. So like, that's one thing. but no, I was in a comment section about just watching. It was like the Kobe 9, the Christmases, the high tops, the elites.
Yep.
People are like, leave hoop shoes on the court. And I was like, okay, well, sure. That one is probably real hard to pull off in general. Right. I get that. But I rock Iversons almost every week. Like that's a thing for me. I have some kamikazes. Like Reebok is like deep in its bag with the classics, but that would fall in the same line. So I don't know. I just, anytime somebody comes at me with that, I'm always like, well, Jordans are basketball sneakers, right? And we've been rocking them with jeans forever.
They don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Oh no, they do not. They do not. But yeah, the younger generation will be real clear about that. And I think the AE1 kind of changes that up now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have the Reebok Question Yellow Toes, right?
Oh yeah.
And I always tell my kids what this shoe is about. I'm a teacher too, by the way, if you haven't figured by my handle. But I always tell them the story of how Kobe was a free agent and all these pairs were like all yellow colorways because they're trying to reel Kobe in. And on the story and watching that, right, seeing him wear these pairs on TV was like a moment in history for a lot of us that loved sneakers, basketball, hip hop, all of that. So yeah, personally, my style has changed a little, right? But I don't know if I can go as bulky as like South Beach LeBrons with like jeans anymore. I don't know. That's just me. But
nah, Tim, we need you in the Nike Elite socks, the LeBron South Beaches, the cargo shorts. The cargo shorts and the
matching polo.
With a headband on.
Fresh out of Macy's.
Some of this younger generation, they don't know about the Nike Elite socks now.
Oh my!
No,
the 2-for-1 was the 2-for-1.
That was the whole vibe. That was.
I still got mine.
Hey, remember when you guys, everyone on this panel remembers the breast cancer ones reselling for crazy. Like you couldn't find those.
Never got that pair, man. Never got
the
it.
yellow pairs the pink pairs were impossible. Yeah,
you couldn't get those anywhere.
I just recently saw a post about Nike Elite socks and Sperry's.
Oh man,
See
that was the time for people. That was reaching a bit, but they did it.
It's
Nike
crazy.
Elite socks with the boat shoes, the boat shoes. Oh man. All right. Well, James, Mr. James, how do you say Holidor?
Yeah. So the J in the name is part of my email, and it's that's what my kids will call it. It's just easier, I guess. But yeah, I will hit you with my top 5. Tim, you kept saying Adidas head. I'm a soccer player at heart, and Adidas has like a weird space for me. There's a certain era, man, where Adidas was it for a soccer player, but. My 5 in reverse order. So from 5, I like Clot as a collab. And when they moved over from the Jordan and Nike to Adidas, I think what they've been doing is pretty cool on some models. So I like my 5 is the Adidas Superstar that they did. It's a dual layer Superstar. It's got kind of dressy school vibes. I could wear it at school. I don't own it, but it's definitely a sneaker that I liked. And I like seeing what Edison Chen's doing over there. My number 4, I have the Verdes, and I thought this was a cool SB. Y'all were talking about SBs being down. I think the GRs were great, and you had to hit on the right collabs for it to be cool. Like my wife has the Futuras. I miss on my size, but I got them for her. That's her favorite shoe to wear, actually. But that's my 4 is the Verdes. I I think Kip has been doing cool stuff with the Asics. I have the Marvel pack from the X-Men, and I missed out on the Villains pack this year. The Venom and Spider-Man, the GT 2160 with Asics. That's definitely my number 3. Great pair of sneakers, double up. I thought it was really cool. And the Unheard Of, the Building Bridges is my number 2. Elite shoe. I love what Phil's doing out there. Again, the Grandma's Couch is in my collection, and I think the storytelling is elite. And then my number 1, I do have, and again, we were sleeping on SBs. I thought Dior Greenwood did a great job with this pair.
That's a strong pair, James.
It's a decon, which I wear an 8.5, but I can go down to an 8 when it's like a thinner model. And I think these fit great. Just the details here, I'm gonna keep showing them. Just the details in general, and just the storytelling overall is cool to me. That's where I look for all of mine. Is what are you trying to tell me? And is it just another pair of Jordan 1s with a different color? Not that that's a bad thing. I got a lot of Jordan 1s, but I just want to know what the story is in a pair.
No, that your number 1, I actually hit on that pair. I think through Extra Butter NY for my brother. My brother had to have that pair, and so I was able to hit on that for him. That nice. He showed me that in person this past week when we were up there for Christmas. The detail and quality on that pair is phenomenal.
When as a 90s kid, I don't know. I mean, I just turned 40 this past month. The 90s starter jacket, the Charlotte Hornets colorway, I have a weird love. I have a weird love for purple and teal, and so anything that's teal, anything even in that kind of color scheme is going to be a hit for me, just in general.
Dope.
Solid list. Just to put it out there, James and Aaron and I were part of a teacher sneaker group chat. James has diversity in his back pocket, like for his collections. Like when I see his stories, and we share our stories kind of amongst all the sneaker teachers, he's pulling out wild cards left and right.
I appreciate the love that you guys give me, man. It's awesome to find other teachers that do it and do it for the kids. It's great.
Yeah.
Facts. All right, Gabe, send us home. Bring us home, Gabe. Top 5.
We'll bring it home. We're bringing home. So number 5 for me is the Black Cement 3. For some people, this is the greatest shoe of all time, greatest sneaker of all time.
Facts.
I'm a Jordan 1 guy, so I wouldn't be able to totally agree with that. But it would be a 1B for me. And the fact that they actually took it back to as probably close to the OG specs as we're going to get it. That's why I had to make my top 5. Number 4. The Wu-Tang Dunk. And like I said before, my whole philosophy is re-release everything. This is a shoe that the general public never really saw anyway, right? So everybody's up in arms about it, but it's a different color. It looks the same in regards to where things are on the sneaker, but it's not the same sneaker that released originally by the group. So we were fortunate to get that, but I think that the brand should put everything back out. There should be a crumble date on everything. So once you get to that crumble date, then they need to be re-releasing that stuff so that we can restock.
I like that.
Yeah.
So number 3. So number 3, I don't have it. It's the J-Tip Saucony, and y'all got me saying Saucony, man. It's a Coney. I don't care what the brand says. It's a Coney, and it's a to-do list, and couldn't have a list without having his shoe on there, just for the fact that everything that you guys said about him and what he's done for the culture, for his shoes, and that he tries to bring a unique perspective. He actually put that brand on his back, and he's been carrying it and doing some really super great things there. Number 2 for me is this violet pair of the Kids of Immigrant Thunder. Just something super special about this shoe. It's one of those shoes that when you look back in 10 years, you're going to think, man, I should have put this shoe in my collection, because it's just going to be one of those cult classics. And number 1 for me is the Nina Chanel 3. So we just stated that the Black Cement 3, for some people, is the greatest shoe of all time. So to take a 3, do all the things that she did to it, change it all up, let Jordan brand allow her to do certain things like change up what the Jumpman looks like, and just all the super things that she did for a silhouette that we all used to. The branding, you know, she had Ellie, the elephant for the New York Liberty wearing it, all the apparel and all the different things that she was doing. I was in Detroit for the Black Footwear Forum, walking through a random alley, and her artwork is in this alley. So just kind of just seeing her stuff everywhere, and just the kind of approach that she's taking as an artist to the sneaker culture, just got to have super respect for that. So I think what she did with this shoe is another shoe that 10 years from now, everybody's going to wish they had this shoe in their collection. So hats off to Nina Chanel for everything that she did for the culture.
Solid list.
Yeah, that's a dope list. One of the things too, like why Nina is so dope, and I think a lot of people maybe don't highlight on this point because we've seen a couple more, but there haven't been very many women that collaborate on a Jordan, right? So you look at it, it was Vashti, right, who did the Jordan 2. That was the first one like 10 years ago, right? Like it wasn't even that long
in grade school.
Yeah, like it was, and they were only grade school. And then Alayli May. So like Nina Chanel is probably like the 4th or 5th woman to touch a Jordan, which is crazy. And I think her 2s were underappreciated, but I think she really got to shine with the 3s. You know, I like the 2s, and they were more, I think, like an artistic version of her work.
Abstract.
Yeah, they're more like a representation of her work. But the 3s, I felt like those were the ones that got the general public on Nina. Like she's someone she's someone that can be in this space for a while. Like she's not just someone that's here for one collab and done. She can actually exist in this space and do dope things.
Yeah. And I think the more you wear that shoe, the better it's going to get. Like the more dirt you get on it, the more, you know, of part of your foot and wear that you put on that shoe, like it's just going to age well. And I'm just super excited to see
the canvas on it. I felt like deterred a lot of people initially. It actually deterred me, the canvas on it, but I just felt like I was like kind of scared to wear it personally because I thought it'd just stain or get dirty. But I've seen more and more people wear it on feet and like beat it up. Yeah, it ages super nicely in my opinion.
Yeah, the patina is going to be awesome on that shoe.
Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on just looking forward? I for the sake of time, we're going to kind of clump all the questions together, the single categories. But what are you guys looking forward to in 2025? And what's one thing that you really enjoyed about 2024 overall as a sneaker year?
I'm gonna show. Can I show my 5 real fast?
Oh, I totally forgot.
All right. No, we're good. Again, mine's are super personal too. I wish I could have gotten a lot of them. Number 5 was the linen Air Force Ones. Those are on my list. I created a list. So if you have them, put them up, please, for my heart. Show them to the camera. The linen Air Forces. Bro, we just remember
let me go grab mine.
Oh man, gonna show off, man. Those are them, man. Those are them. I just remember wanting those linens forever. And like you said, the Kifs were hard to get. So the fact that they came back out and they're not at a crazy price either is, oh, you got them too? So we're just showing off, right?
We're just grab a pair of these.
We're just all of us just
no bad, dog.
All right.
Hey, we're gonna get you right, man. We're gonna get you right, man.
Hey, thank you for tuning in. No, I'm just kidding. But the linen Forces, for me, number 4, I have to put the stash, the blue pack. Man, yo, just revisiting a lot of these collaborations that existed in the mid to late 2000s that, you know, like have a crumble age. Like, oh yeah, just show off, Brian. Let me make that big screen real fast. That
that was a great.
That's clean, that's special stuff right there.
I gotta spin the block.
Yeah. Those are on my blog pass list, man.
Those 95s are first pair I'm buying in 2025, I think.
Yeah, those 95s are special, man. Just everything that's, bro. Stash is a legend, right? And so those coming back. I mean, these are shoes like we talked about earlier. We didn't think we're ever gonna come back, and the fact that they're attainable right now is dope. Those 95s, man. Nah, yeah, just leave them up there for a little bit. Man, those 95s are dope. The stash on the tongue.
The
Yeah, it just
pocket.
comes off.
Yeah, the pocket.
Yeah, I'm finna just have to go ahead and bite the bullet.
Yeah.
No, that's such a dope shoe. Man, there's just so much this year. The top three are personal to me, just like shoes that had significance to me. So the Huff, Air Max ones. For me, this shoe was like a grail. This is one of my first like grails. You know, when you're growing up and you wish you could have a pair of shoes, but they're just never available. The Huff Air Max ones were those for me, man. So the fact that they came back, I still need the pink and orange pair. R.I.P. Keith Huff-Nakel. Number two, it's been on a lot of people's list, but I gotta give them some love too. Kids of Immigrant, Air Max Sunders. This shoe, I mean, it's just, I think what a lot of us, it just, the story of it is something that a lot of us could relate to, right? Like that meaning behind the shoe. And then my number one shoe of the year is, I'm extremely biased towards it. The Unheard of brand.
Unheard of.
Nice.
Unheard of
Shout
brand.
Shout out Phil.
All right, so this is the first sneaker event I've ever been invited to, and it was dope. Like Clay said earlier, me and Clay and Gabe were all there, and the meaning behind the shoe, like building bridges and just being on the boat and like listening to Phil talk about how passionate he was about this product, and then just for me, it's always dope seeing people that really love shoes, get projects and able to do more with their shoes. And so just the emotional connection to the shoe, just being able to go out there and see the friends and family release and all that was dope for me. So that's my shoe of the year. So yeah, man, I think all of us have some dope lists. Like it's just that we just had a lot, and I'm glad that it was a diverse list, bro. Because if I saw a list where it was just J Tips, if we got on here and it was J Tips, Nina, Futura, it would have been crazy, right? Like I love the fact that all of us had a really diverse list.
Yeah, I also think we all pay like respect to the ones that should have been on those lists, you know, like we all recognize, and it's at the end of the day, it's personal taste, but we all know these pairs did their thing and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that's where it's dope, rather than like us arguing about what has to be number one, right? Like, how are you gonna tell me what my favorite shoe is?
Man. You can't.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But with that being said, why don't we go around closing this off? Your favorite thing about 2024 in terms of the sneaker year, maybe, and what you look forward to in 2025. Just a heads up, I don't know you guys that well, but there's so much sneaker wisdom and experience here, which is super dope. And so I think that'd be dope to hear and others to hear that. So Aaron, who should start off?
Let's just go. We'll go Clay. Oh, Gabe, go start us off, bro.
Yeah, I'll go get it started. So, but one thing before we get into the specifics of that is that I want to give a shout out to Reebok for that Alien Romulus that they did.
That was a dope thing.
Love that shoe. I got a low ball bid on it on GOAT right now. So GOAT, if you're listening, go ahead and do that bid. I know y'all got it in stock somewhere. Just go ahead and take my bread, but I'm not paying you what you're asking for it. But Reebok is on the come up. So that's one of the things that I didn't realize going to Black Footwear Forum is that what they're doing is that they got some stuff brewing that a lot of people are going to be super happy about. So kudos to them. So that's one thing that I'm excited to see for 2025. For 2024, I like the fact that you can walk into a store, even like if a lady had her kids walking in the store with them, her kids can try on the shoes. They're there on the shelves. You know, they can say, hey, I want this shoe. Do you have my size? Yeah, I got your size. It fits. And it's not one of those situations where now all the shoes are sitting in the warehouse somewhere for some reseller. I love resellers because I got a bunch of friends that are resellers. But I just like the fact that things kind of normalized a little bit, you know, and everybody got kind of lulled to sleep in regards to, oh, everything's available, it's going on sale. nobody cares about that, man. You know, the people that want the shoes, can they get them? You know, for me, that's the biggest thing. Like, let the people that want the shoes, are they going to wear the shoes, wear them. So that's the cool thing about 2024 for me. 2025, I'm looking forward to all the Jordan 1s that are dropping, the Unions, the
breads,
UNCs, the breads, you know, the shattered backboards, like all the Jordan 1s that are coming out. You know, I need all of them. Low top, high top, it doesn't matter. So
say all of them.
yeah, super excited about that. But I know things are going to be difficult next year because the type of volume as far as inventory that we saw for the last year and a half is not going to be there anymore. So it's going to be a whole lot more difficult picking up pairs than it has been. So we got to go out there and fight and scrap and scrape and, you know, do your due diligence to try to get the pairs that you want. So looking forward to it.
Well said.
No, I mean, something I thought was great this year is the ability to look back. I mean, a lot of times, a couple years prior to this, it was like, if you don't get it now, you're just not getting it. But now you have the capability of looking like, okay, I can wait. Maybe it goes on sale. Maybe I check out GOAT and it drops about $20-$30 from retail. I have the ability to be patient now instead of dropping $230 immediately. I get a chance to really be smart with my buy because, you know, we're all building these diverse collections. There's so many things out there getting thrown at us all the time. This is releasing now. Each week is like 5 releases bare minimum. So this gives us the ability to really hone in on the things that are important to us to say, okay, I get this one now. This is a hot collaboration. I'm not going to get it later, but I can look back at those. Let's say foam pods, for example. I can catch them for $50 under retail later. So really gets us really sit and be smart about our buy and build our collections the way we want to in the time frame we want to. So that was really good about this year. And 2025, something we talked about a little earlier, I'm looking forward to more competition. I mean, that competition breeds better product for us. Those things that we, you know, as sneakerheads, collectors, enthusiasts, whatever you want to call us, the things that we're really kind of honorary about is, you know, that quality. I think we're going to see a lot of those things those problems be erased a little bit. So because people are going to want to say, hey, I want you to buy this Jordan 3. I don't want you to go over to this other brand. So let me fix these glue stains or vice versa, these other brands. So I think we're going to see a lot of improvement across quality because they want to outdo the next brand. I mean, Nike's still a big dog on the block, but they lost a little bit of market share to other brands out there. So they don't want that. And these other brands are trying to scratch and claw to get that market share. You got brands like Saucony who have that small enough ship to navigate and do whatever they want, which is amazing. So they're giving us this awesome product. So I think we're going to see a lot of just, you know, awesome things, a lot more cool things happening in 2025 from everybody.
Yeah. I think for 2024 for me, I think you guys have hit it in terms of just being able to pick up shoes when you want them. I mean, outside of some you know, tough to get kind of collabs or limited releases, being able to walk into a store and grab a pair has been great. One of the things I've really loved, and it kind of felt like it started in 23, kind of picked up steam in 24, and I'm excited to see what's next, is that you've had so many creators have opportunities with shoes, with different brands to really, as an artist, you know, put their stamp on a silhouette, put their stamp on a brand, put their stamp on a shoe in a way that is so different than what we've seen over, you know, the previous maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And so I you know, people like Salehi and Nina and J Tips and Ronnie and Joe Freshgoods and all these collaborators and artists and creators that have done some really unique things. So I think I'm excited to see how that trend continues in 25 and maybe who's out there that's about to do something that we don't know about yet. I'm excited to see kind of who's next. And then just personally, again, being a guy who grew up playing ball in the 90s and idolized Jordan, all of the OG retros that are coming back. I mean, the Aqua 8's coming back, the Paxi 12's coming back, like the metallic 5's coming back, the Flu game's coming back. So there's some stuff that's been on my list that I've missed on previous releases, or man, I wasn't at a spot where I had the money to grab them on previous releases, and I'm very, very excited to see come back around next year. So yeah.
2024 for me was the year of retail or less. I made a commitment that I was not going to overpay because I've done that in the past. There's a couple sneakers in my collection where I hit at them at retail and realized I could have waited. And so retail or less is the goal. And I know Tim and Aaron, y'all saw on my Instagram, my wife and I do our Christmas shopping Black Friday. and we hit all the outlets that we could. And man, I added some really nice pieces to my collection, things like the Fear 3s that, that's a nice shoe. I had looked at it and I had sat on it for a really long time, right? Just a bunch of different things. And so for me, I want to see that kind of continue in 2025 because we're getting 5-6 releases a week. There's no way all the content all the stuff can disappear, right? So for me, I want to continue that trend, but I also hope, Mike, you talked about it, Clay, you talked about it a little bit too, like the competition. Maybe that drives prices back to like a sane level, right? Because I think when you start looking at like 225, 230 for an average pair of J's, that's getting out of pocket, man. Like, and I hope that they can drop that price a little bit because if Saucony or Saucony, however you say it, Gabe, correct me. But like, however it's said, if people can come through and provide some competition, then the market will correct and it'll have to come back, to the 180, 170. We might be back in that range. That'd be wonderful.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. For me, I just have 2 words on here. I have archives and Reebok, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Is next year again pulling out some of the classics that maybe we didn't get a chance to get, or we're super limited, like you said, when we were younger, we didn't quite have the money. Now we've got our own money that we can reach back and get some things. And then I want to see what Reebok comes through. I know they released some preseasons this past year, which were crazy that no one talked about. The Romulus, a friend of mine in the chat, he got him. He showed him the other night. What a ridiculous shoe that is. I mean, it's just, wow. They got some really good stuff coming, and I'm looking forward to seeing Reebok really make some waves this upcoming year. So that's all I got, man. That's enough for me.
Dude, people sleep on Reebok. I mean, I stay going to the outlets and finding stuff that people just pass on. It's wild. Pumps, preseason, stuff like that.
Oh, dude, this year was the 30th anniversary of the Insta Pump Fury, and they had some dope stuff dropped at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like, some great thing like Beams collaborations, a lot of stuff, man. Reebok
I like was it the Mischief collab with the pumps where they put the pumps all over
all the
shoes?
pumps everywhere?
Those were dope as all get out. I tried to hit on those and missed on them, but that was a fire shoe too. Yeah.
All right. Scott's 55, talk to us, bro. What you looking forward to? What you like about
you already know what I'm looking forward to. I need them red foes, man. I need them real Nigels for real, man. No, but besides that, I'm looking forward to them Dion's. I want to see this Dion line. I'm a big trainer guy, so that's got me really excited. I'm really, really, really excited about all that. I don't normally double up on trainers, but couple of them Dion's, I'm probably gonna have 2 pair. And I'm also interested to see every other brand's response to what Anthony Edwards has done with Adidas basketball. As far as marketing, I want to see it. I want to see, they got to respond because he in their face. I'm not gonna say it's dying. Nike basketball is dying, but I will say that we need that elite sock era back in order for them to compete with Anthony Edwards. He's got the game with a chokehold. So I'm very, very interested to see how that goes. I want to see how this Galaxy foam drops, how this happens. I've heard the numbers. Sheesh.
Need those.
2012 all
don't
over
we
again,
all?
guys.
Don't we all?
all
Yeah.
over again.
All I'm gonna say is start saving now, man. Start saving now. But I do definitely want to see, if they can restore order to it, especially with with Braun probably leaving and stuff like that. I want to see what's up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I still wear Nike basketball with jeans, but I ain't putting no Paul Georges on. I ain't putting no Giannis's on.
None of that.
I got to see what they gonna do. So I'm interested to see how they respond because Ant kicking them, bro. He got him in the chokehold for real. So I love the marketing he doing and everything. So I want to see the responses to that.
Facts, yeah. He's doing his thing, and you could say it Nike basketball. I mean, the last real sneaker that kids were excited about was the Kyrie, right? And we saw how that went, and and where that's at now. And now, I mean, like the kids aren't going crazy over Giannis's, or kids aren't going crazy over Luka's, right, or Westbrook's. Like Luka's drop at a discounted rate, and I think they're cool looking too, right? But they drop on discount, like just drop 50% off, you know. So, yeah, you're right. Like Anthony Edwards really did his thing, and he had the personality for it. I've talked about it a lot, especially with Gabe and Clay and all them. But and we needed that Iverson energy back, right? And AE wasn't afraid to be politically incorrect, right? And to just be authentic and
real Atlanta, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the thing about that is that I bought a pair for principle, right? Because it would be, if his trajectory as a player is what we think it's going to be and what it should be, and if he takes that Mike path of, okay, eventually winning championships and stuff like that, then we're going to look back on the AE1 just like we do the Jordan 1, and we're going to wish that we had an 84. We're going to wish we had a 2004, 2003, whenever it dropped, whatever.
Right.
AE1 like we wish we had a 1985 Jordan, right? So that's the thing about him, is that his personality is what is drawing people to it, because I haven't hooped in forever, so I don't buy hoop shoes. So, but I got a pair of those just because I know that as a collector, that if he does what we think he's going to do, you're going to want to have that shoe in your collection for sure.
I bought 2 of them.
Yes, I got a couple of them floating around.
Well,
and I need that low top. I need that low top baby blue, and he just dropped 2.
Yes, sir. The lows
can't do one
are
next
more comfortable. The lows are more comfortable than the highs, I think. So easier to wear on foot casually. But I think what's cool, what AE's done with Adidas too, is I think it's elevated the rest of Adidas basketball. If you look at the new, if you want look at the new Dame 9s that dropped, I just picked up a pair of those. That's a dope as heck shoe, man. Like that's a nice shoe. Or the new basketball side for sure. Like they're
the Hardens
basketball as a whole has elevated.
Yeah, those new Hardens.
Yeah. The new Hardens, the new Dame.
I figured they would have dropped Harden by now.
Man,
dude, his shoes selling.
His shoes are horrendous.
The sevens, was a resurgence for the Harden shoe, and people have loved him since. He's huge in China. That's why they got the first release of the 9. So they're gonna hold on to him forever.
Man.
All right, 23 BC, bro. Talk to us.
Man, 2024 for me, one would be, of course, the Jordan 17. I think I have begged for this shoe for 15 plus years. I don't care who heard me or not. It got to somebody. So definitely was glad that happened. 2, the diversity in the sneaker culture. I think this has been needed, man. I remember one time I had some friends over who had seen me in a while, and the first day I want to see his shoes, and I think I was wearing some Diodors. Now, mind you, I wear a lot of everything, I would say. And they were like, "Oh man, like, but you only post this." I mean, like, yeah, like I post my originals a lot, but I have a lot of other things. And I think this year, Nike's mishap allowed other brands to be cooler again, to where I don't see the same thing on everybody's feet when I walk into the mall, which I think is needed. Especially like here in Atlanta, like at one point in time, it was all designer.
Man.
That's all you saw. Like Jesus Christ, it's like, hey man, like how are y'all affording $800 a pair? You know what I mean? So it's just like, but I mean, when now we see the Asics, or we see Ants, Reeboks, like it's there's so many different options for people and for kids to be like, well, I don't have to beg my mom or go to these extreme measures to buy this expensive shoe. I can chill over here, be comfortable as well, because amen, the Asics Nimbus, it's just all these things that I'm seeing. It's like, oh yeah, like this is really sneaker culture now. It's not Nike culture, it's not Jordan culture. Yeah. This is really sneaker culture now, which has been needed for a long time. 2025, I'm ready to see what Nike's going to do with them diving in that vault. I have an OG collection. Like, I'm almost 90% done with 1 through 23 in every color.
Dang.
Yeah, so like like I compare things too much. Like, oh, this is off and this is off. But I have been seeing the changes in Nike with the tweaks that they're doing, and I feel like they're actually listening to us. Like, hey, man, like, and give us something different or fix this. And then also, I'm ready to see what Ant's gonna do with the AE2. Like, that's got to be a huge follow up. Like the AE1, huge, like way bigger than I think anybody could have ever thought of. So the AE2 has to be just as spectacular. It has to be, or not to say like it's going to ruin it, but like it just has to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean,
like
just
people
that
that slow roll
says dope.
It has to be a Jordan too.
Right.
Yeah.
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 So
from the people that I know that have seen it, they said that it's super dope. So I'm hoping that that's true in a general sense, not just their personal taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they took their time and didn't put a 2 out like 6 months later, like some of these other.
Right.
And like, dude, run that timeline out on it.
Like just give Ant some time to grow and be himself, and like he's literally building his brand and has Adidas on his back right now. I mean, which I think is an insane thing.
Well, Adidas needed it when the whole Yeezy situation hit and that kind of fell apart. They were desperate to have somebody come in and kind of take it over, and AE was there and was there at the right time. The timing could not have been better on that end.
Yep. And we also got the Shade coming out next year, and it's just like a lot of different things now that we have to look forward to, which I'm excited for. So, I mean, like 2025 is going to be big from right here. We also have some 17s coming. So it's just like, hey, Nike or hey, Jordan, you guys talk to me when y'all want to talk to me, but
send them some pairs. Hey, send them some pairs.
Give all the
hey,
just send the early link, guys.
Hey, man, it's like I have carried a 17 on my back.
Hey, mad at it, man. I'm not mad at it.
We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. And I want to touch on that just to wrap everything up, man. Like, even I love the diversity, right? Like you were saying, like this year gave other brands an opportunity to highlight some of what they were doing right. In the last 2 years, you've seen I know Gabe wants back.
I see Gabe. I see you, my guy. Bring the toe cap back for Gabe.
2025. I'm sorry, Aaron, I cut you off, man, but you were saying wrap up, and I forgot about this. This actually is the thing that I'm looking forward to most in 2025.
Are the red steels coming back too, or no? Do we know?
I don't know about the red ones. The shadows are coming.
I need shadows. That was my first pair of Jordans ever as a kid.
Everybody talks about the full thing as though Jordan didn't like the full thing. The threes, the fours, everything has the mud guard. It was just this little piece that he didn't like, right? Yeah. But I'm good with all of it. We need this. Like, they need to drop this in February.
10s are my second. 10s are my top 5 Jordan models, man. The 17s, the 14s, the 10s. Love the 10s, man. I need those red steels again.
With a toe cap, though. With a toe cap,
though. Let's bring it all back with the toe cap.
Absolutely.
With a toe cap.
The toe cap is it for me, man. For sure.
Man. So to wrap it up, I think what made me excited about 2024 was that it was like truly a year where we got to enjoy sneakers again, right? I felt like 2020 to 2023, it was always just fighting just to get a shoe, right? And I think it was a little it wore on us a little bit, like just like, yo, 5 years ago I could get these at the outlets, and now I'm having to pay $50-$100 over retail just to have this pair. And so I love being able to walk into a store and look at the shoe, right? Like it just brought back memories of doing that as a kid. Like, because we remember once a month when they dropped, right? Like, all right, time to go to Foot Locker, time to go to Athlete's Foot, time to go to all these places and just let's try them on. And then walking out the store with that bag, right? You felt like the coolest kid in the world or the coolest person in the world, like walking out with that bag. I love the variety, not just in brands, but also just like even in Nike's line, like getting the Spirit On back, getting the Huarache Highs back, getting all these shoes back that, I was a big fan. I'm a big fan of runners, obviously teaching them on my feet all day. So I wear a lot of runners. So the Vomeros were a big hit for me this year. The Pegasus 2K5s were a big hit for me this year. I wear those all the time.
The P6000s.
Yeah. So
There you go.
P6000s. So just getting all these retro runners back, just having the diversity, like 23BC was saying, it's like, yo, today I can wear, some Jordans, and then tomorrow I can still throw a fit together with, some Pegasus 2K5s, or like just be comfy, right, and be out there. Man, for 2025, in all honesty, I have a get back list shoes that I need to get. Like the linens are on there, the stashes, the black cement 3s. So that's what I'm focusing on. Like I'm not even looking at releases, but I'm looking at like this community, right? That this panel that we put together, I think represents a lot of unique perspectives in the culture, and I think we need more of this, right? I think for a while people were crying about people that were content creating, and I'm like, yo, look at this panel, right? And like we're the people that actually know shoes and know the history of the shoes and can carry that on, right? It's like in any art or any culture, if you don't got people that are willing to pass it on, it's gonna die, right?
True.
And so we need people that are willing to post 17s or post 19s or continue to talk about this culture. Otherwise, like anything else, it'll die, right? And this is something that I think we're too passionate about to let die. Of course, shoes are always going to be there, but this younger generation, like a lot of us know, they don't have that attachment to it. They don't care as much. They're comfortable wearing fakes, right? That's something our generation really couldn't. It was like committing blasphemy, man. Like, but these kids, these kids were like, they'll tell you they buy fakes, right? Like they got
the grown-ups too.
Yeah, the grown-ups too. Like they buying fake Bape on Panda Buy. They buying, how many pairs of fake like Ama Manier or like Off-White Jordans I've seen, but it doesn't matter to them. Like their friends don't care. So for us, it was a different generation, and hey, to each their own. But like because they're not afraid to buy fakes or just like, hey, these shoes are unattainable, I'm gonna order them on Panda Buy. It loses a little bit of that, like that aspect of the culture, right? Where we were hunting for the real pair because that meant something to us, right? We were hitting people up on eBay and Craigslist, right? Yo, like I want this pair in my collection. So that aspect of curating our collection, I think, is back, which is dope. But me and Tim just want to say thank you to everyone who participated in today's panel. We are definitely not done. We're gonna create with all of you guys this year. We got to get in the DMs and create and collaborate, because that's the only way to build community. I know me and 23BC have talked a little bit. Me and Scott's got to get something going. Brian, I love what you do. Area 13 Sneakers, I love what you do, man. Like he has people on his show weekly showing off collections. Some of the craziest collections I've seen have been on his live stream. So if you haven't checked that out yet, so everyone, man, just keep creating. Appreciate everyone. If you're still watching, follow everyone. Make sure you're supporting everything that everyone does. And I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for everyone. Appreciate everyone, and until next time, peace out.
Peace.
Thank you.
Everyone. Thank you guys.
Appreciate that.
Good stuff.
It's just front page shoes. They checking in cause this is front page news. To every sneakerhead, even the hypest beast. It all started with, do you